142nd contact. Tuesday, February 3, 1981, 11:53 p.m. Billy says, "You've really found the time to visit me today, about which I am very happy." Semjase says, "Even for me, it is a joy." Billy says, "Of course, I understand, but may I immediately, at the beginning, ask a question?" Semjase says, "Sure, just ask." Billy says, "You can still remember that I brought you 2 photos during our last contact?" Semjase says, "Yes, those which I was to judge." Billy says, "Yes, exactly. Today, I have something similar, namely a letter again, which clearly indicates that it is a swindle. Here, if you want to read it." Semjase says, "Thank you. Of course, I want to read it. Oh, it is, however, rather long. It will take some time, therefore, have some patience." Semjase reads for a long time. After that, "Is this supposed to be a joke? Or have these very faulty words been written with seriously deceitful intention?" Billy says, "They are really meant to be serious, obviously in order to perpetrate a fraud." Semjase says, "Then it truly does concern a fraud, which certainly must be explained by me. The few human races in the territory of the Cassiopeia constellation in another space-time fabric are well known to us, but they have no resemblance to the life forms mentioned in this letter. Also, their aircraft do not correspond in any way to the kind described here, and besides, their technology isn't so far and highly developed that they could, with their own aircraft, reach the Earth. The technology of one of the 2 races is presently developed so far that they prepare just the first flight attempts to outer space, and they stand just a little bit behind Earth's technological development. The second race, which is on another planet behind the Cassiopeia constellation, only uses aircraft that master their own planetary space somewhat certainly. Among these facts is the further complication that both of these races of human life forms exist in a different time plane in relation to the Earth, like I said, so separated from the time plane that is known to the Earth person and in which he lives. So if the people of the Cassiopeia constellation one day dominate outer space, they still won't be able, for a long time, to penetrate into the time plane in which the Earth people live their existence." Billy says, "And in our time plane known to us, no human life forms exist who would be capable of space flight in Cassiopeia, respectively, in that area?" Semjase says, "Sure, there are people there, but these are not yet advanced in space flight or are not so far advanced that they could carry out journeys through universal space. Like on the Earth, secret stations of foreign planet human races exist there on their planet, which do not, however, practice direct contact with the planet's inhabitants." Billy says, "I understand. But now, another question. How many of all solar systems have planets that are actually inhabited by people, which are visible from the Earth and which are known to us? If one believed all alleged contact reports of Earth people with extraterrestrials, practically all solar systems would be inhabited." Semjase says, "Sure, your words correspond to the truth. Truly, there are only very few solar systems inhabited by human life forms that are known to the Earth person, and on the other hand, a lot of suns have no planetary systems. To these facts, there is still to add that many of the space-traveling races that come to the Earth are not resident in the time plane known to the Earth person." Billy says, We already spoke very often about space-traveling human races that do not belong to you and which come, nevertheless, to the Earth. In which time plane do they all belong?" Semjase says, "It is different for each. To mention all of them would be difficult and time-consuming." Billy says, "Then let's say, For example, the people of the area of Alpha Centauri, then Reticuli or whatever it is, then. Semjase says, the first live a tiny fraction of a second shifted from the Earth time plane, so therefore, they cannot be reached by Earth inhabitants before they master time travel. The second human race you mentioned also does not live in the same time plane as the Earth people. You should be content with this because it would all be too much for today if we wanted to clarify these matters. Billy says, good. Let's just stay with the letter. Then this Joseph Wonderka, who wrote this letter, is just another crank. Semjase says, he belongs to that group as those two, from whom you brought me in the last contact visit the photos of the model heads. Billy says, then the case is clear. I just don't understand one thing. This funny and crazy letter arrived into the hands of Wendell Stevens, who sent it for further examination of the situation to Herbert Trunkel, who submitted it again to me. Now at the same time, I do not understand how and why Wendell does not review such things more closely and too gullibly supposes that behind such obvious nonsense could be a degree of truth. Even in other similar cases, I have already determined this. Wendell is just too gullible. Semjase says, he is a researcher and a seeker but, unfortunately, not a true expert, and besides, he is too credulous. Billy says, it also seems so to me. Semjase says, just with the photos and with this letter, it should have hit him that something can't be right and doesn't correspond to the truth. Especially with this letter, it would have had to hit him that an attempted fraud was present because certain similarities with your writings unmistakably point to the fact that this relies on your written material, which was distorted and represented in a fraudulent form. A lot of this very clearly and without a doubt points to the fact that this person, Joseph Wonderka, has falsified compositions from your writings and from our contact conversations to his own favor and has maliciously and intentionally written them down as his own experiences. Billy says, aha, we have already determined this. So then, it is true that this guy has stolen material from my writings. Semjase says, sure, because that is unmistakable and clear. Billy says, it's just a pity that such a fast one can be pulled on Wendell. Semjase says, that is a true word because he strives for the truth in more serious and extremely honest and correct ways, in relation to all of these interests. It would be better for him if he consulted more with you for the clarification of such interests because you are the only person on the earth who has the necessary insight and knowledge and experience with respect to extraterrestrial life and missiles and aircraft of the same, in order to be helpful to him with good, honest, and certain counsel relating to this. Billy says, I have certain experiences, knowledge, and insights. Yes, that's right. But of this, I do not want to make too much advertising. Only too quickly, one would say that I contest and deny the experiences, observations, and contacts of others out of self-praise.